Welcome, everyone. I'm Janine from Wested. I'm here with my colleague Sophie. We're just going to wait a few moments as everyone comes in that's joining our session. Welcome. We're going to be talking about building systems to promote early STEAM in your agency at this session.
Still see quite a lot of people trickling in, so we'll give everyone a little bit of time and then we'll get started.
Okay. And speaking of math, one of my daughters, who's 5, favorite things is to watch Zoom numbers when she gets to sit next to me at the kind of more informal meetings, to watch those numbers tick on up and be amazed. I remember one we were in, it was around 800 people, so that was a big number to see. All right, we have 111. Please use the chat as you already are to say hello to each other. And if you can, please share your program and role. And we also love seeing where you all are from. And as we move through the session, please put any questions about the presentation content in the Q&A button at the bottom rather than the chat. So again, any questions about content, those go in the Q&A button. And just like the opening session, you're automatically muted. There's no video in this platform. There will be a recording available and you'll be notified by email. Oh, I get to watch all the places flowing in and roles.
I know we've got a lot of all parts of California I'm seeing represented today.
I was gonna say there's like a block that came in all like around Sacramento, Modesto. I've seen a lot of places. I have family and friends. In the earlier session, I saw Folsom and Lake County, which is where I grew up, at Middletown, and Hollister and El Centro. I'm like, oh, I want to do a road trip after being in
Oh,
this
we've got
symposium now.
Utah. We've got
Utah. Tree school.
Okay, I think our numbers are starting to settle a little bit, Janine.
Okay.
Maybe can get
So,
started.
yeah, hello again. My name's Janine, and I'm with my colleague Sophie from Wested, and we're here to talk with you about building systems to promote early STEAM in your agency. And again, please use the Q&A tool to ask us any questions you have about the content as we move through the presentation. Sophie, want to take the next slide?
Yes, the content from this presentation is part of work that's developed as part of the Count, Play, Explore initiative. And so the Count, Play, Explore professional learning resources is a product of the Fresno County Superintendent of Schools, and it's developed in collaboration with Wested and partners. So just want to acknowledge our partners here. And just to give you a little bit more context, what is Count, Play, Explore and what is Count, Play, Explore professional learning resources? So the Count, Play, Explore initiative is developing a lot of resources around STEAM. And we have a website called the Count, Play, Explore Professional Learning Resources in Early Math and Science. And so all the information that we are sharing with you today is available on that website. And you see here a screenshot of the particular module that we'll be covering content from today, but you can also experience it on this website. And this website, more generally, it actually was just launched last month, and it houses a collection of professional learning resources for facilitators in a variety of STEAM topics. So it's for people like you who are attending today, so professional learning facilitators, coaches, or other professionals working with educators of children birth to 8. And so the goal of this website is to hopefully build your own knowledge on different STEAM topics. And also to find resources that you might want to use in your own professional learning when you present those to educators. So that's the first link. You can find the link of that in the resources section of the Zoom panel. The second link that we're providing here is a link to the Count Play Explore for Families and Educators website. And this contains resources such as videos and book guides and other related learning activities that are specifically designed for families or for educators to use with families. So we'll be going through this content today, but there's much more to explore in this website. So what is it that we're covering today? In this session, we will explore a process for how agencies can build systems to support educators' math and science mindsets, knowledge, and teaching practices. And we will do this by exploring the importance of early STEAM as an agency priority. And STEAM stands for science, technology, engineering, arts, and math. We'll recognize ways to build and maintain systems that promote early STEAM learning. We'll provide opportunities for you to reflect on your own agency's early STEAM data as indicators of areas of strength and opportunities for growth. And then we'll give you some tips and ideas for how you might think about planning for professional learning, or PL, that connect to your agency's early STEAM goals. So now I'll pass it back to Janine, who will walk you through the first few sections.
So first, as Sophie mentioned, we're going to be exploring the importance of early STEAM. And let's head to the next slide and we'll do a little Q&A. Actually, you know what, Sophie, I'm thinking we can probably use the chat for this one after all.
Okay, sure.
So sorry about that mix-up, but we'll keep our Q&A for kind of one-off questions. And let's have the kind of, what do you think? Yeah?
Yeah, that
Either?
works. Yeah, let's use the
Okay.
chat.
So let's go ahead and use the chat because everyone's already so active in there. In the chat, please share which STEAM topic you're most comfortable providing PL on and why. And again, by PL, we mean professional learning. So think about science, technology, engineering, arts, and math. You might be thinking of a particular area of content within. So pop that in the chat and let's see what you all think. Art, art, art.
Yeah, lots of art. Oh, I see some
From the
math
math.
coming in, some engineering. Oh, so fast.
It's gonna race in. It looks like, yeah, it looks like we are the only breakout. So we have a big group. So we're going to be reading quickly. Hands-on learning in the science. That's wonderful. Math and science, science and math. Wonderful. I haven't seen much engineering or technology zoom through yet.
A
I could
little
be
bit, but
wrong.
you're
Did you
right.
see
More,
it spot anything?
a little bit.
Okay,
Oh,
here
there
we
you go.
go.
Technology, engineering, and arts.
Mm-hmm.
Art and math, science and art.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then sometimes in this age group, people can wonder, well, what does it look like for such young children? So I'm sure people will leave this symposium with ideas. Okay, well, thank you for that. Yeah, art started out strong and here it comes at the tail end again. So that's exciting to see the range of things that you're comfortable with. And of course, we want to help you grow and build teams to support work in other content areas that you're less comfortable with. So let's head to the next slide and look at why early STEAM is so important. So as a result of STEAM learning, we know that children can experience more positive feelings and thoughts about math and science, and they build their understanding of STEAM concepts and skills. Also, STEAM PL systems can support educators' math and science mindsets, knowledge, and teaching practices. Educators might experience more positive feelings and thoughts about STEAM. They can develop increased knowledge of STEAM topics and gain confidence teaching those STEAM topics. So we have some guiding principles of STEAM to share with you. These guiding principles can really create a common purpose and a sense of unity, which can promote early STEAM. Your agency might already have some STEAM goals or principles, but you can consider using the Count, Play, Explore or CPE principles as a framework to develop like a shared approach to early STEAM, like something everyone can come together around. And here they are. Math and science mindsets matter. Math and science are everywhere. Math and science are for everyone, and math and science are playful. And we definitely saw evidence of this in Judith's presentation earlier. As we watch children explore, outdoors, indoors, they brought learning outside, they brought the outdoors back in. So several of these are also representations of that same concept of exploring these topics everywhere in families and learning settings and in community spaces. Okay. So next, let's take a quick look at identifying ways to build systems that promote STEAM. So let's think about what agencies need to promote early STEAM. They need time, of course, to build systems, reflect on strengths and opportunities for growth, and plan professional learning and ongoing supports. The early educators need time to apply what they learned about young children's early math and science learning. They also need funding for planning, for PL experiences, for ongoing supports, for the materials, and hopefully incentives like stipends. They need leadership, for example, a group of individuals to co-develop a vision for promoting early STEAM. You might draw on administrators or educators at a variety of organizations for that team. They need the shared commitment of everyone involved, like leaders, educators, and families. The benefits of a team approach are many. We know that promoting early STEAM requires a shared commitment and ongoing collaboration across a group of individuals we're calling a STEAM team. So studies show a team approach is an efficient and effective way to support positive change because it offers a range of perspectives and expertise from different levels in a system. It distributes the workload and it increases the opportunities for sustainability, such as creating a system that will last beyond your current funding and staffing.
Okay, so next we're going to take a little bit of a dive and explore a case study to learn from a County Office of Education, or a COE, and their STEAM team. And so throughout the rest of this presentation, we will continue to refer to this particular case study just to give you one example of how an agency built a system in their agency to promote STEAM and how they then implemented professional learning in their agency based on this. So this particular County Office of Education team included one program manager for the continuous improvement team with math experience in TK through 5th grade, and 2 early learning program managers. They leveraged their prior participation in a teacher development grant, which established a P3 alignment network that included educators and administrators. And in choosing to include both the TK through 5 and early learning program managers, we were really able to represent the entire P3 age group through their team. Their implementation included a cohort of 34 educators in preschool through 3rd grade, and it reached 666 children. So this is a little bit about the STEAM team. Now back to Janine.
Thank you, Sophie. So who might be on a STEAM team? We're about to invite you to share that and chat with us in a moment. But your team might include agency leaders, administrators, professional learning providers, coaches, educators, like maybe teachers at a school district, perhaps family childcare providers in your community, adult family representatives, parent groups that you might be working with, and other community partners. You might think about colleges, resource and referral agencies, and county offices of ed. So think about the range of potential members and then consider how your STEAM team can include individuals with a range of professional experience, skills, and expertise, be diverse in race, culture, language, gender, socioeconomic status, and abilities, and really reflect the members of your community. So now let's take a moment and share some ideas with each other. If you were to build a STEAM team, who would be on it? You can tell us why those people would be on it. Maybe again, your role in contacting them. So share some blurbs in the chat with us about who you would invite. Maybe it has to do with other initiatives going on in your area that you know of. Maybe there's a library program and just got some grant funding that you really want to partner with them to really collaborate and then think about how things are sustained beyond, again, the current moment in time. So let's keep an eye on that chat as ideas come in.
I see someone mentioning people that coordinate parent nights,
Yeah.
childcare providers, admin, family daycare providers. Some people are attending today are part of a public library system, so their management or local office.
Makes sense, yeah. Feel free to jot down ideas as you see them come in chat. We hope you'll go back to your settings and after some of you after summer and participate in STEAM team building. So
Yeah, teachers from dual language schools that speak the targeted languages. That's a
yeah,
great idea.
care providers,
Parents or parent advisory groups.
Yeah, tribal representatives,
Yeah.
very important. Expanded learning practitioners.
Coaches, site supervisors, interested teachers, parents. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm reading, the science words. So there's also a lot of like reference to the county level, local engineering professionals. Soon on the professional learning website that we shared earlier, there will be things like family engagement in STEAM. And we really talk a lot about what does it mean to partner with community groups, with families who hold that expertise. So keep that in mind. Sometimes a business or a professional in your neighborhood is actually a parent or a grandparent or a cousin or an uncle. So you can draw on expertise in so many parts of the system and community. I see Lena raised a hand, but I'm thinking, Lena, maybe think about putting your question in the Q&A. I think that's how we're able to respond. Pollution technicians,
Yeah.
site supervisors.
There's
What
really
a lot of great ideas. Yeah. Maybe add a little to your first entry. In what areas or all of STEAM would you consider focusing your work? No problem, Lena. You do get a question that you want us to really hold on to and make sure we answer, make sure that one goes in the Q&A, and we'll kind of keep our ongoing chats happening in the chat. Thank you. Wow. Technology and engineering. Sophie, it's coming back.
Yeah, I see.
I don't know. I think that these might be like, the ones that are still really new and a little, there's more questions about how to approach them. And we also have great topics coming in our professional learning related to computer science and kind of computational thinking. So we have always check that website because you'll see a lot that are things in development coming soon. So that we're excited to share. And of course, hear how you're using them.
Yeah, oh, some computational thinking and computers.
Yeah. Oh, great.
Really
Yeah.
wonderful to see as well. It's not something that often gets talked about with this, younger age group, but when you explore our website in the future, we'll definitely have some resources about how to engage young children in computational thinking.
Yeah, I some seconds to that idea of, well, what does it mean to think about that, but screen free? So how do we think about aspects of computers and computer languages and computational thinking in other ways beyond being on those tablets? Great. What a wonderful bunch of ideas in here. Kinetics, I like that.
Yeah, I see someone in the Q&A asked, how do you use AI with 3-year-olds? Which is a great question. When we talk about computational thinking, we often talk about the precursors to coding and things like that. So it might not be appropriate for 3-year-olds to be using AI, but they might be able to engage in activities like patterning or sequencing, which are precursors to computational thinking. So that might be something to think about.
But also, you could also check in with families, family surveys, family conversations, wondering with families are about the way they interact with their own children, with or without screens on subject matter is a great way to learn. And I was just going to say, I think Rochelle posted a workshop, and maybe it's homegrown, maybe you got the workshop from somewhere else, but everyone's going to be interested in your coding and robotics workshop, I think. Okay, so as people continue to chat, maybe we will launch into our section 3, Sophie. So gather and reflect on data to set STEAM goals. Let's see, let me just adjust my screen a little. Okay, so we're going to take a look at how agencies might gather and reflect on data to set those STEAM goals. And to start out, of course, we'd want you all to be noticing the way your agency and community already promotes STEAM, because that will really help you focus your efforts. And again, as we just saw, there's all of these ideas about ways you're about to maybe launch into this work. And then again, in community, we want to think about families and their roles. You might think about using data collection tools and processes that really fit your needs. Your agency might already have data collection processes in place, maybe annual child assessments or program quality assessments. So start with those if you can. You might also think about informal data collection, like observations or anecdotal evidence. Maybe you've created a survey or a rubric. So that will also help you get the information that your agency needs to kind of start out. And then, of course, revisit and reflect as you move through. So other kind of groups that we're thinking about when we talk about, well, who do we want to talk to and who might we collect data from? You might be thinking about your professional learning providers and coaches, educators, and we're really talking about centers, school districts, family childcare, family friends and neighbors. So the broad definition of educator, from children and from families as well. So here's some examples. So if you're wondering if a professional learning provider feels confident in offering PL on early math and science, maybe you conduct a survey. If you're wondering about educators' math and science teaching practices, maybe you'll do some observations or hold discussions with the educators. And then on the flip side, and I know a lot of people are here that might be educators themselves, you might decide to share some of your wonderings, questions, or areas of interest with your PL provider or coach in the area. And ask for some specifics to support that area of your growth. To understand children's STEAM learning, maybe you'll look at DRDP data, or for slightly older children, standardized tests. To learn about the ways families support early math and science learning, right? Everywhere for everyone at home. You might conduct a survey. You might just have some conversations or a focus group with families. And maybe that's something you'll put out at an event. Maybe you're having a family STEAM day or a family math night. So also think about the ways you can really hear from many families to really maximize their feedback. So considering these different types of data can really help identify your agency's strengths, but also opportunities for growth where you want to head. I think I saw a couple things in chat, but I just want to make sure, Sophie, that we've responded. Okay.
Yes, I think we're all
Great.
set. Just asking about the coding and robotics workshop.
Nice. Yeah. I'm like, I'd like to see that one too. Okay.
So let's jump back to our case study to learn how this County Office of Education gathered and then reflected on data, and then which helped them then set goals. So the way they gather the information is by looking at county-wide offerings of PL opportunities that already existed. They then surveyed early educators about their STEAM strengths and areas they wanted to grow in. So you can see here that they're looking already at the sort of provider level and the educator level. And there were some things that they noticed from gathering this data. They noticed that there were opportunities for growth in some areas, which included more play-based approaches to STEAM learning for preschool and transitional kindergarten educators. They also noticed that educators were feeling less confident in providing lessons on geometry and spatial thinking for early elementary educators specifically. So they identified some math areas that seemed to be an area of growth. And then they also identified that they wanted to work on math approaches and content areas for family childcare providers. Um, and then based on this data, the team set some early STEAM goals. So they decided that they wanted to develop all early childhood educators' confidence to teach math in developmentally appropriate ways. And this is where they were hoping to touch on this idea of play-based approaches to STEAM learning. They also wanted to build the capacity and the knowledge of early educators in math learning progressions and in the content and in the standards and the instructional practices. And so, since they had specifically noticed that early elementary educators were feeling less confident in geometry and spatial thinking, the team planned to focus their PLs specifically on meaningful investigations to support geometry and spatial thinking in early elementary students. And so at the bottom of the slide here, you'll see a quote from a facilitator took part in this case study. And what they said is that they really wanted to focus on that P3 alignment piece. So building a shared understanding of the developmental stages for different math topics from P to 3. And so you can see that for this particular agency, that P3 alignment was a really important piece of their professional learning and their goal setting, and really making sure that they were providing resources for educators from preschool all the way to third grade. So I think now you get an opportunity to do a little bit of reflecting on your own agency.
So we're going to think about your agency's data and goals. What does your data show? What do you think? Where will you focus your efforts? So let's do this one by one. We have 3 areas in here, but I know every time you try to get a new line in chat, it usually just sends that message. So let's start with number 1. Share your thoughts about your potential groups of focus. Who might you really think about supporting as you plan STEAM professional learning, or maybe family engagement, family and community engagement? You might tell us about, I'm going to work with a school district, or I'm going to work with family child cares. I'm going to work with first grade classrooms, or across, again, that P3 span. So let us know first off about potential groups of focus for any upcoming STEAM efforts that you have. Then we'll move to number 2 and 3 after. Oh, here it comes. Sophie, educators and pre-K educators, great. We might hear about also the TK, of course, too, or universal.
Teaching teams
Yeah,
in the
teaching
district,
teams. Mhm.
parents. Okay, seeing a lot of pre-K or TK educators.
Yeah. And I know, of course, there's still a lot of, as we know, there's lots of conversation about what does kind of a play-based approach look like in that early elementary, and how do we bring play back in and bring these concepts to life in early elementary. So I'm curious if we'll start seeing some of that in the chat.
Yeah, someone talked about incorporating STEAM intentionally in their lesson planning. It looks like this is for the preschool team.
Yeah.
So what
See,
does,
Chrissy, yeah. Oh, go ahead, sorry.
yeah. Oh no, I was just gonna say, what does it mean to have meaningful and intentional STEAM experiences in this age group?
I'm loving Chrissy's note, family, STEAM, and math buddies with older students. So we're going beyond third grade, I bet. Or we could think about a preschooler and a second grader, and then funding from Community Connect. So that's wonderful. We're hearing about the funding sources as well. Okay.
some local organizations.
And Martha, thanks for sharing. So, I'm sure there's many people new to this. So thanks for being here and learning with us. Oh, okay. So Aletta wonders how common it is for educators to partner with a parent or two. So in the CPE work, we have heard of many, instances, and there's really a support for how you help families maybe present their story or their expertise. And for example, if you're having a family STEAM night or family fun day, you might ask a parent to co-present or lead a brief presentation at the beginning of something to get the event started. You might ask for parent leaders at some of the STEAM activity kind of booths or stations. So you could be thinking about roles to invite parents into, or ask the families themselves, what role are you comfortable with? There's some really great resources in the CPE Family Engagement website coming soon again around interactive exhibit guides. And there's many ways that families could explore, but also support um, STEAM experiences like those. I'm just reading this last comment that I have on my screen, visual and dramatic arts. Oh, I like that. Yeah, so Jennifer, thank you. That's a great example. Visual and dramatic arts teachers and community members, so meaning the families, and then skills they have related to their occupations or other life experiences. And then again, another buddy system with older grades. So there's like a really nice kind of multi-generational connection happening there. Sachin, tell me more. Is TOME an acronym? Or Sophie, do you know?
I'm not familiar.
I need to learn more about that.
Hmm. Well, maybe in the
Okay,
meantime, question two.
number two.
Oh, new
So,
to me. I see.
oh, okay. Sorry, I'm bad at text acronyms. I always have to Google them. Oh, just out of it. So data you already have. So tell us more about what led you to this area of focus. What were you seeing that made you want to really focus in on this area? Um, and pop that in the chat. So we'll kind of change gears to number two on our screen here. Data you have that helps kind of bring your focus. That's great. So Rochelle's already looking at survey data and finding out what families were interested in. So that's how they came to the topic.
Attendance information or TIP
Mhm.
group reports.
Immunization requirements, yes. That was a really big deal when it came to pass the immunizations. I remember working with programs in South San Francisco, Fremont, let's see, San Mateo, and Hayward. That that was a big thing to kind of think through with state preschools so that they could increase family engagement once again and think about, what they could still do if families chose not to I don't know why I can't get that one out. Immunized. Like that.
Yeah.
So any advice for Carolyn?
Maria too is talking about or mentioned that she's just hearing from providers that they are always looking for more ideas. So it can be your data can be from what you hear coming through word of mouth.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Parent survey
Alicia.
results. And see
Yeah.
DRDPs and ECHRs and
Yeah.
ASQ coming
Mm-hmm.
back.
GRDP and ASQ, right?
Wonderful.
Like data. Okay, so Kevin, if you moved us into number 3, we'll just make that transition. What kind of data would you like? What would you like to collect? How might you collect it? So kind of like what's missing? Where are your gaps and what you want to find out more about as you move through these plans you have for being here. But, Kevin's also writing whether or not students or children see themselves as STEAM people. We have a really great module, self-study module, and an facilitator resource, which is meant to be delivered to educators on the professional learning website, all about math mindsets right now. So there's some self-learning if you're, for example, a PL facilitator or coach, and then you can also look at what resources we have for someone like a trainer to use with educators to really think that through, how do these mindsets come into being? What can we do to support those mindsets? So we know that it's important for the adults as much as it is for the children. Hopping
Yes,
back to
and the
chat.
list of things people would like, it seems like people would like some information about teacher knowledge,
Mhm.
maybe observations in classrooms of what children are doing. Um, DRDP data.
The LCAP plans, I'm not as familiar with Aleta's question. If anyone has information they can share, is some aspect of STEAM showing up in the LCAPs? Anyone with info to share, please pop it in chat. Okay. So this is all really wonderful sharing. Thank you very much. Gaps and feelings of efficacy. Yep. Focus on. Yeah, this idea of self-confidence is definitely really big, and how you see yourself as a kind of scientist or mathematician, and really building comfort. And yeah, so thanks. Keep it going in the chat. Scroll through, see if you can answer anyone else's question. If we don't have the expertise, draw on your colleagues, please. We'll move into our final section. We're going to think about, okay, so what are some steps in how to plan professional learning to promote early STEAM? And of course, we've already, mentioned the website. We want you to visit that professional learning website and really take advantage of the resources there, and many links and downloads and PowerPoints and your own self-learning. So more PL considerations here now on our screen as you continue to chat. So when planning PL experiences, of course, we hope you're identifying, if you're like a trainer, an agency, a cohesive set of topics. So what's the link? And as you all have been sharing so many topics, there's sometimes a continuous thread between them. Maybe you're developing a series of related pieces. Maybe you really serve a diverse group of educators. And so you're thinking about maybe technology, but you're going to think of different areas of technology. Or you're going to think about maybe everyone's interested in more play. So play might be your thread, but then you might have different topic areas within that. You might think about your format. California's huge. Maybe in-person works for you, maybe virtual if you're especially serving rural areas. And really even in the city, when we think about the length of time it might take to commute to a specific location, it might, work best for you. So think about that. Maybe you'll do a hybrid approach, which we know can be a little more challenging to make sure everyone's feeling included, and whether they're online or in the room. But um, talk to the people you work with and see what works. Think about the frequency, how often can you hold PL? How long is a PL? What's the time of day or weekend for your PL sessions? Who might be some of your facilitators? And again, for professional learning, it might be agency staff. There might be college professors, other community agencies, child care resource and referral groups. So think about who you can kind of tap into and draw on their skill set to bring the content to life. You might also think about any other ongoing supports you might provide around STEAM professional learning. You might start a community of practice or professional learning communities, whatever your favorite acronym is here, a COP or PLC. Think about your coaching sessions and how those can enhance the learning and provide opportunities for educators to try things out, debrief, ask questions, and reflect. And then, of course, remember, you can explore this topic that we have today in more detail as a self-study module on CPE's professional learning resources and early math and science website. So if you head down to the Zoom menu, you'll see a resources button. And let me know in chat if that's easy to find once you do this. You'll click on those resources. And Naomi or Sophie, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm going to look for either resources or the word link. And we're going to have some links and things in there for you to click. We're going to have also a PDF to share with you. It's called the STEAM Professional Learning and Ongoing Supports Guide. So you'll find, and also you'll find a PDF of this PowerPoint there. Okay, Emily has found it. Thank you. Sophie, did I say that right? The links are in
Yes,
the
you did.
resources zone. Wonderful. I want to make sure everybody has these resources. So on our next slide, I think Sophie will bring us back to the County Office of Ed case study.
Yes, so revisiting our case study, now that they have collected data and set goals, it was time for them to do planning for their PLs and ongoing supports to move towards their STEAM goals. And so what they decided to do is they decided to leverage their existing P through 3 alignment network. And through this network, they recruited and engaged a cohort of P through 3 educators. And in terms of who they decided to engage, they decided to focus on those districts with the highest need. So those were participating educators who worked with children from low-income backgrounds, children with disabilities, and multilingual learners. So that's how they sort of chose what participants to work with. What they also were able to do is they had grant funding that allowed them to provide stipends for this cohort of educators that they were working with, the 34 educators. And in fact, they were able to provide each educator with a stipend of $2,000 and then an additional $250 to attend several of these PLCs or COPs, and also $250 in classroom supplies. What they ended up providing is they did 3 in-person professional learning sessions. And in those professional learning sessions, they made it a point to have opportunities for peer collaboration, for active learning, and for feedback and reflection. And so specifically that active learning was important given that one of their goals was to offer more play-based opportunities for learning. They also, in addition to providing these 3 PL sessions, they engaged these educators in 83 coaching sessions across the educators. And these coaching sessions were individualized and relationship based. And it was through these coaching sessions that they were able to provide the educators with additional resources to really support each one of these educators with what they needed. When the educators were asked about their experiences through the PLs and this coaching, the educators reported feeling more confident in their math knowledge. They reported feeling empowered to use math in daily routines for the children that they were working with. And they were more aware of the math progressions after collaborating with others from different grade levels and sites. So they really saw a benefit in working with other educators that maybe taught a different age group, but that span this pre through 3 age range. And they were able to offer more child-led exploration time with manipulatives and less direct instruction to encourage problem solving. So really, that was evidence that this play-based approach, which was a goal for this County Office of Education, was translating into how the educators were changing what they were doing in the classroom. So there really were noticeable shift in children's engagement and understanding of math concepts. And we have a quote here on this slide of one educator who shared, we got to do kind of the exploratory activities and find that to be more lasting than just reading something or somebody telling me or seeing a lesson plan. Me participating seems to solidify it in my brain a little better. So I found them really helpful. And here they're talking about those fun, playful, hands-on activities. So, passing it back to Janine, let's take a think about what you might do to plan for your PL sessions.
Yeah, and so, we have a little bit of extra time, I think. So I think one thing we could do is also encourage everyone to click those links in the resources under the resources button in the Zoom menu. Check out one of those websites and maybe pop into chat something specific, tell us how you might use these resources in a PL activity or a family and community engagement STEAM experience. What's it going to look like in your area? Is it going to be a series of PL? Will it be coaching? Will it be an interactive exhibit? See what you find as you peruse those sites. It might be that you yourself, as we heard, some people are new to this. They might say, I'm going to take some self-study modules to get myself started. They might head over to, again, the PL site and look at the facilitator resources and say, I really want something I can deliver to educators, in a month's time, 2 months' time. Erin sharing training coworkers to run the event. Great. And of course, don't forget our family engagement resources. There are so many on countplayexplore.org. There are videos that you can use, really short, fun videos of families engaging in everyday math. And you might play those at the start of an appeal for educators. You might show them to families. You might generate a QR code so people can get right to them. Put it on a flyer. You might create math packs, which are really wonderful ways to bring math or other STEAM topics together in kind of a backpack. You'll provide a book guide, and related materials and activities families can take home or check out. That might be a great partnership with a school district or a library to offer. So I have to say, I'm always on Count Play Explore to show, my daughter a video of some kind of math or STEAM concept. And then we think about, again, how it relates to our own lives. Um, it really inspires things at home. So again, keep in mind all these ways that families are engaging in STEAM topics in their everyday lives, and then how we as educators and trainers, again, like take up in that same spirit, where is it in your life? What do you really want to focus on? Where do you want to build your comfort? So I'm seeing some love for the Count Play Explore
I
site in the
know.
chat. That's really nice to see.
Yeah, and I see Karen and
Um,
Melissa, you're talking about maybe doing some learning, your own learning first before, so some of those self-study modules, before exploring the other resources or providing those self-study modules to college students or colleagues.
That's wonderful. That's how we were hoping that they are used. They're really to help you build your confidence in subject matter and have a little bit of a preview before training others. I'm going to read through Shanice's post here.
Yes, and Rachel, we do have slides on a variety of math topics, and we're constantly adding to them. So those are slides you could directly take and use in your own professional learning with educators. I like some ideas about how you might involve families and encourage them to explore the website, put the link in in a newsletter that I assume you're providing maybe to families or communities or
So this post I just read from Shanice, a nonprofit organization, they're thinking about arts and creativity and also design thinking, upcycling. There's so many great themes. And then the age span, TK through high school. Wow. Families and educators, and then really thinking about, again, what are your community initiatives? What's going on? Where's the funding? Proposition 28. So It looks like there's some really wonderful broad thinking going on. Nice. Wow, you've shared some really wonderful examples, and we really hope these websites serve you and your communities well. And let's see, we do have a couple more minutes to respond to chat, but maybe we'll head to our what's next slide and do our own wrap up and then open it up to chat or Q&A. So as we wrap up, we just wanted to pose some questions, about what might be next for you, some of the big questions. So if you feel like it, please respond in chat. But otherwise, they're kind of those big takeaways. So at your agency or in your own role, how might you integrate STEAM PL into existing agency initiatives? Or really, again, what we're seeing is draw on other initiatives and funding or sources in your community. So increase participation among the educators and communities you serve. So that might mean thinking about topics of interest that will draw them in. We saw earlier in chat that there's already surveys out there and in the works so that people have data back from. So looking at those and seeing what the draw will be, thinking about time of day, and can you provide childcare to the educators who might be participating? Of course, all these logistics. Can you provide training in languages other than English? How far is it? Is it virtual? So these are all things that have, for our own particular agency, data that we have gotten back from other PL providers and coaches who are out there doing the work as things that they know we need to be thinking about that were sometimes challenges when they were happening in the moment. So if we could think about them ahead of time, it's even better. And then again, sustaining STEAM efforts, that might mean funding, that might mean partnership, that might mean, putting the power, like a lot of people are saying, put it power in the hands of the families and educators. So how does this work continue on? Some more great things coming in chat. So we have some time for questions or more sharing. Thank you very much. We can probably pop our emails in chat if needed. And again, please share some of your final thoughts with us and ideas so that your colleagues can benefit from them in the chat. I like that. The common understanding. Yeah. That's very aligned with what our kind of words shared approach were. That's perfect. Alicia, thank you for sharing that. How do we get everyone on board with math and science or STEAM?
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if there's any questions about this presentation or about the resources that we've been mentioning, feel free to let us know. We're around for a few more minutes. But yeah, we appreciate you attending today.
Thank you. Thank you. I see some, Ophelia shared, whole family approach. So the family and the child in each program of CPL. That's wonderful. So district support, targeted PL for TK. I like that, Paulette, you already have a name for your theme. It's capitals. It's like you are ready for it. We rebuild our future, environmental engineering. That's great.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, this was great. Thank you very much. And we hope you have, of course, a good snack planned for this break we know is coming up, and hopefully everyone can pop back into the symposium after it. Oh, county funding. That's great. Yes, Washington County. Mhm.
Oh, you'd love to see a STEAM set of counting cards. I see as an idea.
Yeah, I did see that. Rochelle, are you? I'm wondering if you're in Oregon, like Washington County. That sounds familiar. That's in Oregon. Yes, Washington. Ah, okay.
Okay, I see a question in the Q&A about the
Okay.
videos on CPE and whether they can be used on their library social media. I am actually not sure we have a social media handle that we can tag, but I believe that the videos are all on YouTube, so you should be able to sort of access them that way, and I think add on to your social media. But I'm not sure about the handle, but that's a great idea, making me think we should have one.
One idea was someone shared was that they've made QR codes so help families easily
Yeah,
like scan and head to the website. So
yeah, that's an.
put it on a flyer or put it in the show. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Naomi,
Naomi, I would say Naomi.
Naomi's on it. She always
So
knows.
we have a moderator with us who is well versed in Count Play Explore resources. So she's just posted in the chat her email.
I've also added it as an answer to the Q&A so that it's
Great.
together, but sounds like Naomi has a handle for you to use.
Thanks, Rochelle, for sharing your district, Hillsborough. Oregon's a big state like California, and I'm on the other side of Oregon. I'm over in Eastern Oregon, but we were amazed at the wonderful representation we were seeing of people who've joined today. So all through California, but if you all were here earlier, you might have spotted South Africa, South Dakota, Dominican Republic, Chicago, Wisconsin, Texas. So I'm thinking, are people traveling or are we getting a worldwide turnout right now, which is wonderful. And I love maps, so it was hard for me to resist keeping track of everywhere that people were joining from. Yeah, great. We're seeing some connections come through, so maybe we could leave chat open until till the end here and make sure people can connect. Thank you.
Good, thank you.
Yeah. People are popping in their last thoughts and thank yous, and I know you're heading on your break, so no worries. We just want to be here to answer questions until about 11:20 if you have any. How did I miss this spaceship chat? So building up a spaceship with all community workers. That's exciting.
Ooh, I missed this
Like
too.
something fun. Susan's comment here. That's site. That's really fun. That's reminding me of something like a very interactive exhibit, something really hands-on in the engineering space too. It's exciting. The case study did come out of California. Yes. Well, Julie, in the and a soon to come out STEAM family engagement self-study module on the PL website. There's a really fun and video incorporated into that that's also available on countplayexplore.org. And it's two little girls, I think they're twins on the bus, and it's really cute. The video is told through the perspective of the children some of the time, where the children are given a voice to talk to each other about all of the learning that happens in infancy, in the community, and with families. So it is a fun one to start with if you're looking for videos of infants.
Oh. And
Well,
there will be more videos that are being added in the next few months. So this is not a static website. This is constantly changing and being added to.
well, Patricia, we're glad you joined us here. We think something happened with the other presentation, so I think we got the benefit of having many more people in our presentation. So thanks for joining us in here.
Great. I'm glad everyone's enjoying the resources. We're going to have to close
Mhm.
this out in a minute. So, take this remaining time to grab any more resource, any of the links to the resources. Let's see. So there's a question on whether there are any videos on connecting gardens with STEAM. We don't currently have any on either the family website or on the professional learning website. There's videos there too, but that's actually an area that we're doing a lot of work in right now. So I have a feeling we may have something about that in the future, but it'll be a little bit more of a wait for that to arrive. But
Something maybe similar would be there are a video on a farm, like looking at produce on a farm, and there's also farmers market videos. So those are, I would say, the most akin to a garden right now. Okay. All right, Sophie.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. We're going to close out the session, and hopefully you enjoy the rest of the symposium.
Mhm. Okay.
Any more? Yes, there's some books. Great point, Aletta. There's some books related to this
It's
model.
true.
Okay,
All right.
bye,
Well,
everyone. Have a
well,
rest of your day.